All right, there it is. We are live. Welcome back to the Lions Den podcast. Of course, we're going to touch on the game last night. Our Lions getting that huge win to open up the season in Kansas City. Let's get ready to talk about it. All right. It was 21-20, Lions over the Chiefs, and a hard fought, I thought a decently fun game last night against the Kansas City Chiefs. I figure some before we take our give our complete takeaways from the game. Let's start with each side of the ball for our Lions. Let's start with the offense. What were your thoughts on the offense? Let's start with quarterback Jared Goff. What were your thoughts?
They did not meet my expectations. I mean, as you know, last night I thought Jared Goff was actually gonna have a pretty stellar game. I thought he was gonna have about, I don't know, like I thought he was gonna have like 260 yards. I mean, he was pretty close to that. I guess he did have 253 yards, a touchdown or whatever. But really, he kind of went back to old Goff, in my opinion. He was more of a game manager. I mean, some analysts and stuff, I feel like they don't know the Lions. They were saying that Jared Goff outplayed Patrick Mahomes, but in my opinion, that's not true at all. He did not outplay Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he only completed 62% of his passes too. So I thought he looked pretty. I thought he just looked okay, to be honest. He
Okay.
didn't. And I'm sure he'll look better as the season goes on. I hope. I don't know if he looked okay because the receivers weren't good because it seemed like they weren't getting open. But it was.
I hear you. Well, let's see what the stats look at. Let's see why they said that. If you could see the screen, son, 22 of 35 for 253 yards, 7.2 average, one touchdown, no interceptions, with a QBR of 64.2 versus Patrick Mahomes, 21 for 39, 226, 5.8 average, two touchdowns, and a pick, even though he had a higher QBR. So I don't know.
No,
Maybe
no,
you
Goff.
think
It
maybe
says
that's why.
94. It's 94.
Is it? Let me see.
Yeah, 94.1.
Oh, okay. RTG.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you're right. My bad. No, you're right. His QBR does say six.
Okay, I
Oh,
had to look again. Okay,
QBR.
I did. Hey, I don't have my
Oh,
glasses. I had to look again and see. I'm like, wait,
oh,
maybe I read that wrong.
okay. My bad. I'm sorry. I didn't see the QBR. I don't know. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, Mahomes' QBR was still higher, but I don't know. I suppose. I mean, I agree with you. You and I were texting throughout the game. I did. I agree with you. I thought that Jared Goff looked a little shaky at first, but this is something my man, shout out to my man Steve Fezzik, the gambling expert, something he said early in the week. He named 8 teams, and the Lions were one of them, whose quarterback did not see a single second of the preseason. And he said, now this is just for betting purposes, but it also goes into the game, that he always is shaky on the first half of those games because those quarterbacks always seem to be a little bit rusty. So with the Lions, he said, I don't expect Jared Goff to play well into the second half because he didn't play any of the preseason. He's going to look a little rusty in that first half. And Jared Goff, I know that there were some missed catches, but some of those passes he threw were a little low. They weren't on the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what about what up? I would say sorry about that.
Yeah. Don't say ESPN out of the bottom right.
Sorry about that. I don't know what that was that came on. Sorry about that, people. So with that said, let's move on to the running backs. Uh, let's see what did you think about our running backs? If you can see, we were led by David Montgomery's 21 carries for 74 yards at 3.5 with a TD. Gibbs had 7 for 42. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts on our running backs?
Carrying wise, it's pretty much what I thought. I thought Gibbs was going to get more yards carrying, but I don't. I was going to say this. I don't think Gibbs is ever going to be the guy that gets 20 carries a game like Montgomery has. I feel like fans need to realize that he's never going to get more carries in the game than Montgomery is. So I don't think there's ever going to be a
Okay.
time where they start working Gibbs a ton in the run game. I think at the most he's going to get is like 16 carries. I think that's the most carries he'll get in a game. Because on 16 carries, he should be getting like 190 yards or something anyway. So I don't think he's not a workhorse type guy. I think it's going to be like a DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams situation, to be honest, except Gibbs will probably get the ball a little more than Swift did.
Okay, so even after what we saw, even after some of those explosive plays, you still don't think that Gibbs will be the guy at running back.
No, because the Lions. The Lions have never been like that. They've been weird with that stuff before. Swift wasn't hurt last year, and they still didn't give him the ball. They're going to do the same thing with Gibbs. I'm telling. They clearly like running power ball. That's why they got Montgomery. They knew what they
Right.
wanted in Gibbs. They know. I'm sure he's made spectacular plays in practice and stuff. I feel like Montgomery's still going to be the guy that gets majority of the carries for how the Lions run the ball. Because like we were saying, they were saying low key, how many sweeps did we really see Gibbs run? It
Right.
seems like when they ran
Right.
him, they kind of were running him up the middle and stuff. I don't know. They probably could use him a little better, I guess.
Okay. I would agree. I understand. I'm gonna be honest. It's been since Barry Sanders. That's the last time that I remember the Lions having a running back where literally he was the lead. He was the lead horse. Like he carried the ball pretty much 90% of the other plays.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It could
saying.
be.
He's not like that. Like I don't think he's no. I don't think he's.
But what did you think about their performances? The two of them.
Oh, I thought they did pretty good. I mean, shoot, Montgomery did pretty much what I expected. I don't think he's a guy that's going to get a ton of 25-yard gains. He got some decent 5-yard gains,
Right.
and Gibbs, like I said, he's clearly a rookie because he missed like a wide open hole where he probably could have got a touchdown. And I know he slipped on one,
Yeah.
but
Grass
he's
monster.
he's um he's going to be dangerous. Like he showed enough. Like he basically, like I said yesterday, he plays just how he does at Alabama. He slips a lot of tackles, or he slips like seven. I think he slipped 7 tackles or 9 tackles on 7 carries or something like that. Something.
True. True. Okay. Let's move to the receivers. Let me see. Josh Reynolds had the most yards with 80. Amon St. Brown had the most catches, 6 for 71 yards and a touchdown. And you can see the rest of the receivers there. What were your thoughts on the receivers?
Yeah, I thought the receivers were, I mean, okay at best, I guess. And
Right.
I guess that's being optimistic because really Josh Reynolds only had so many yards because he kept getting fed, I guess. He had 7 targets, and I think a few of those targets were drops. And you could say that Amon St. Brown had 9 targets and 6 catches, but he didn't
Yeah.
drop the ball though. That was more, I think Jared Goff was overthrowing or something like that.
Correct.
Um, and I think we need major help at receiver. To be honest, I mean Sam Laporte is working, and he's already been a major guy, but he got 5 receptions for 40 yards. It's not like he's some downfield. It's not like he's some deep threat target. At least not as yet. And then
Right.
Marvin Jones, I thought he was going to do better than what he did, but he hasn't done nothing. So he already wrote him off. So no, the Lions
Right.
we need a receiver. I think.
I
That
I I agree. I'm
yeah.
gonna have a thought on that on our when we do our closing thoughts on the Lions and receivers. I agree with you. I thought the receivers were just average at best, other than St. Brown, and I was not surprised about Sam Laporta. I expect to see him with more targets and more catches.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
St. Brown is officially, yeah, he's a top 10 receiver in the league.
I agree. Now let's look at our defense. Right here, the defense was led, at least in tackles, by Alex Anzalone and Derek Barnes, each with 6, followed by CJ Gardner Johnson, who was out there hitting. He was setting the tone. Jay
Yeah, he
Phillips
was.
had 5, and on down the list it goes. Now, some stats don't stand out, and that's Aiden Hutchinson. Did you notice, son, how many times he was double teamed and sometimes even triple teamed?
Shoot, I didn't notice the double team as much. I kind of never seem to notice that because I don't really look at that as much. But what I did notice was I only noticed his last name, that right tackle, who I don't even know if you can pull it up or not. He was egregiously like
Jawan
he
Taylor.
was
Yes.
literally lined up so behind the center.
Yes, he
He had
was.
to have been offsides. He had to have been. Like there is no way that he wasn't cheating every play. I get some people were saying that he was having a perfect reaction to the ball, but come on, bro. There's just no way he was
No,
reacting to the ball that quick. He's not a wizard now. I mean,
he
come
is
on.
not. And,
And
and go
uh,
ahead. Go ahead.
and the thing is, it's probably going to be like this with Aiden Hutchinson until they get. We were already saying that they need a defensive tackle. They need somebody else that can take
Yes.
away the double team. They can double team them because they know nobody
Yes.
else is going to get back there except maybe occasionally Isaiah Buggs and Pascal, I guess. And Houston's the situational pass rusher.
Exactly. I'm gonna agree with you on that. Yes, I had my eye on Aiden Hutchinson a lot on defense because I wanted to see it for myself, and he was being double teamed. And then when he wasn't being double teamed, the receiver who would line up on right outside of the right tackle would chip him, or the
Yeah,
tight end with chipping. They definitely, I mean, dude, I was telling the guy at work today, man, he's looking like Reggie White out there, man. Like, I mean, the way he's getting double teamed, he's
yeah,
looking dangerous. And those are the things the stats don't show up. And you're right. If we can get a pass rusher, a pass rusher up the middle, it's going to help because they can keep double teaming Hutchinson, but now we have someone else who can pick up the slack. But for what it's worth, I thought the defense looked pretty decent, especially the front six. Now,
yeah.
at
Mainly
first, the
front six.
secondary was looking kind of shaky. It was a lot of blown assignments. It was a lot of dudes looking at each other. Oh, I thought you was gonna get that guy, but they tightened it up better in the second half. And speaking of our DBs, Cam Sutton. I'm gonna be honest. Did you know Cam Sutton was on the field?
No, and I was gonna. That's what I was gonna mention when we got to the DBs. I was gonna say, look who's not on the stat sheet, and I was gonna mention who is, but I guess we get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not even on the stat sheet.
Yeah,
So
which
yeah,
tells me that Cam Sutton did his thing out there. Because when you're talking about a cornerback, when you don't see him on the stat sheet, Cam Sutton, the only time we heard his name really was when they had that pass interference. When he got there just a little bit too early, and yeah, it was pass interference. He did get his elbow and his hand in the guy's back and push him away a little bit. But the point I'm making about Cam Sutton is that obviously he shut down his side of the field.
yeah,
I mean, we didn't hear his name at all. And when anytime a ball was caught, it wasn't he wasn't the corner who the ball got caught on.
yeah, yeah. No, I would agree.
Hmm.
Unlike his partner Jerry Jacobs, because the Jerry
Yes,
Jacobs
yes.
must have been getting cooked actually, because he had five
Speaking
tackles.
speaking of the DBs, what did you think of Brian Branch and Gardner Johnson?
Well, or are we gonna talk about all the DBs in general, or just them two?
Well, we can talk about all. Talk about them all in general.
Well,
Let's
in
talk about
general, I'm
all
not
of
gonna
them.
lie. I don't think the DBs. Actually, I take back. I don't think the DBs did good at all. I'm not trying to ride Patrick Mahomes, but really, he was saucing them up on that fourth
He
and
was
25. Patrick Mahomes threw a dime to Sky Moore, and Sky Moore dropped the ball. He cooked.
true.
Sky Moore cooked whoever. They got cooked twice on 4th and 20, and then on 4th and 25. So I don't know if I can't give the pass defense as much credit as I want because Patrick Mahomes was still able to make all the throws he wanted to. I mean, what is this dude Houdini? He is
True.
honestly probably the best quarterback I've seen out there. I'm not saying they would have won if they had Travis Kelsey or anything, but honestly, he probably would have had like 350 yards passing if his receivers would have just caught the ball some more, to be honest. That's how I feel about it.
Oh, I
I do
agree.
think
I
Brian
agree.
Branch, I mean, I guess, yeah, he had that pick six, but he seemed like he was confused out there on some stuff still. And
I
Kirby
agree.
Joseph was dancing and stuff. He was one of the guys that was getting cooked in the fourth. But I don't know.
Yes. It did look like it was a lot of miscues out there. Even that touchdown that the rookie caught, I forget his name. Gardner Johnson started tapping his chest as soon as he caught it, like, my bad, that was on me. That's what I mean. There seemed to be a lot of confusion out there that Aaron Glenn is gonna have to get, under control. I want to look at another stat though, son. Speaking of the front six, look at the Chiefs running backs, not counting Patrick Mahomes. Pacheco had 23 yards for 2.9 average. Edwards-Helaire 6 carries for 22 yards. And Sky Moore had that one sweep for 4 yards. So these boys didn't even hit 50 yards rushing. Remember, not counting Patrick Mahomes. They didn't even have 50 yards rushing. So do you think that's a compliment to our defense, to the front six?
Uh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'll give him that. I'll give him that. We did better against the run than what it looked like last night, I guess. Yeah. I would say that we did good against the run. I'm not trying to sound like I'm being hard on our defense. It's just I do feel like we do need to realize that the Chiefs made many mistakes. And when we're in the NFC Championship, the Eagles aren't going to make those mistakes, though. Like,
They are
so,
not. I
yeah.
agree. They're not. Neither are the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of teams you can look at and say, yeah, they're not going to make those mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, and I don't know. I mean, pretty much Patrick Mahomes was rushing whenever he wanted to. He was getting 10 yards whenever he
He
needed to get.
was. Yes, he was looking like the MVP out there, looking like the best player on that side of the ball. So we've talked about the offense, we talked about the defense. Going forward, let's start with the defense since we're talking about defense. What needs to improve next week against the Seahawks so we can be 2-0?
Um, Honestly, they thing is, I'm kind of flip on what I said. You know, they were playing the best team in the league, so really, I feel like they could play the same. They still beat the Seahawks because really all they got is DK Metcalf. I mean, well, okay, I mean that's not all they have, but I feel like for me to give an actual evaluation on what they need to do against the Seahawks, I really would need to see Geno Smith and them play. It's really hard for me to give like a main game plan. But really, the main thing I would say is to shut
Right.
down Kenneth Walker. I guess that's the
Kenneth
obvious.
Walker. Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's the obvious. Make sure that they don't get the run game developing. Yeah, make sure because that's what the Lions were trying to do against the Chiefs. Make sure that they don't get the run game developing, so then our linebackers don't start cheating up. Because then when that happens, I do think Geno Smith will be able to, throw it. I think they'll be able to get those weird crossing routes, kind of that seems to get the Lions all the time. They always seems to have those weird soft spots for some reason, like in the
They
middle.
do.
I don't know why.
They do. They do. I'm going to agree with you. I think that, and for what it's worth, going back to our D line, I thought that Lynn McNeil also had a good game. I thought
Mm.
Benito Jones had a good game. The difference is that these are big boys, and by big boys, I mean these are run stopping D tackles, not guys that you expect to really get the quarterback. I'm There are some guys out there. It'd be nice to see us make a couple of just major big swing moves. And there are some guys that are on the top of my head that the Lions could go after. Now, I don't know about the Lions salary cap. So what I'm about to say, it could affect that, but I'm gonna keep it real. Chris Jones,
Hmm.
the Chiefs
Yeah.
have not given him a deal. He's sitting in the suite, which is weird to me that he's sitting in his suite watching the game.
Yeah.
The Chris Jones is a disruptive defensive tackle up the middle. Why not call it the Kansas City and say, "Hey, you guys don't want to pay that man. We are paying. What do you want for him?"
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know
And
why he
plug
was
him in the middle.
either.
I mean, that's my thoughts on defense. Another thought, I know he's getting up there in age, he's getting long in the tooth, but Aaron Donald's out there. The Rams aren't going anywhere this year. Aaron Donald is around, and the Rams aren't going anywhere. That's
Yeah.
another D tackle that could be disruptive up the middle and get at the quarterback. I know those are big moves, but maybe something like that. And I have one on offense as well. But I agree with you on defense. I think that we're going to definitely have to get more pressure on Geno Smith so he doesn't have time to throw the ball. And they're going to run the ball more than the Chiefs did. There's going to be a lot of Kenneth Walker, and you're even going to see that kid. I think he's out of Texas A&M that they took in the second round. He's a bigger up the middle
They
running
don't
back.
have Devon and no, they don't have him. I hope not.
Devon Witherspoon.
Devon. Oh no, Devon Anthony. I hope that's not your
That's
name.
who it is.
Oh goodness, they have him too.
Yes, that's who it is. They took him in the second round. That's who I was talking about.
He's really fast.
Yeah, and he
Very
likes to run up the middle. So I expect to get
fast.
I expect to get a double dose of that. Okay, let's jump over before we wrap this up, and let's talk about the offense. What does the offense need to do next week to put up points and beat the Seahawks?
Yeah, well, Devon Anthony runs a 4-3-2, so they need to make sure they do contain them. Actually,
Mhm.
I did not realize
I
that
didn't
they
know he was
really.
that fast. I know he's kind of big, a big running back. I didn't know he was that fast.
But basically, oh geez, sorry, my computer just glitched out for some reason. Okay. But basically, the main thing they need to do on offense is really just look more sharp, to be honest. I mean, I
Okay.
think Jared Goff just needs to command the team a little better. I don't think he'll have as many overthrows. So, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see them. I mean, that's what everyone wants, though. I'd like to see them work Jameer Gibbs a little more. So,
Yes,
but
absolutely.
I mean, the offense didn't look absolutely. It's not like they looked terrible against the Chiefs or anything. It was just the first game.
I
So,
agree.
I mean, it's hard for me to it's hard for me to like give a straight game plan of what I think they should do because what they were doing against the Chiefs worked. They just weren't executing. Because really, I think they should have beat the Chiefs by double digits probably, but they just weren't executing when they got to the red zone. Like fluke stuff was happening, like
Yes.
Marvin Jones fumbling for the first time in his career somehow. Of course.
Yeah. We literally saw Marvin Jones get old right before our eyes yesterday. Like we saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's like 32, that's up there in football years,
Oh,
especially
get
for a
old.
receiver or a running back. That's up there in years, unless you're a quarterback. But Marvin Jones didn't look like the guy we had a few years ago. I would say a couple things. Number one, the offensive line was lights out. The offensive line was absolutely dominant yesterday. I thought it looked great.
Yeah.
I think there may be three things we need to do for next week. Number one, I think we need more Jameer Gibbs. He's explosive. He's fast. He's probably the most explosive player on the team. We need more Jameer Gibbs. They said that we're going to see him line up in ways that we've never seen before. I'm sorry, we need more of that. He needs more than seven
Yeah.
carries and two receptions. That's one thing we need to do. More Jameer Gibbs. Number two, Laporta. We need more Laporta. He was targeted 5 times, 5 catches, and he did pretty decent. Third, they probably can't do this to Monday, but Mike Evans, it expires today that the Buccaneers had to give him a new contract. Go get Mike Evans. Go get the Buccaneers aren't going anywhere. Go get Mike Evans on Monday. Call the
Yeah.
Buccaneers as soon as the league says you can make a conversation. Ask the Buccaneers what they want for Mike Evans. We
Ooh.
need a number two receiver immediately. We cannot wait 5 more weeks for Jameson Williams to get back. We need a
And would
number
he really
two
be number
immediately.
two? Like a guy that got 74 receptions last year. I didn't even know he got that many receptions.
Well, I'm saying that because I think Amon St. Brown is still the dude on the team. He's still the security blanket, but Mike Evans would definitely command a side of the field.
Yeah.
Mike Evans on one side, Amon on the other side, with Laporta in the middle. I think it could work. I think between those guys, I said Mike Evans, Chris Jones, Aaron Donald, Brad Holmes. Come on, man, go get one of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. Because I mean, Amon St. Brown is still number one, but he's still a slot receiver though.
Exactly. He's right. He's really more so of a slot receiver. I agree with that. That's what I
He's
think needs
literally
to
Cooper
happen.
Kupp.
Of course, next week we will do our preview on the Seattle Seahawks, for sure. So that's what I thought. That's our thoughts. It was a great game, good win. What's your note, Sonny? Did we miss anything you want to cover?
Oh no, I disagree with you. We need to go get Mike Evans.
Yes, yes, we did. We need a number two, so like immediately.
Literally.
If yesterday didn't prove it, we need to go get a number two receiver, a solid receiver. That's what I'm thinking. So, well, I don't have anything else. Great win for our Lions to start the season out 1-0, one down, 16 to go. Hey, Lions fans, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share. If you know any Lions fans, share. Tell them, hey, there's these guys out there. It's a father and son team doing nothing. They love the Lions. Check these guys out.
Yeah.
Pretty much. If that's it, son, that's all I have. Until next week, Lions fans, when we do our preview for the home game against Seattle, that's all we got. Peace.
Peace.